Looking to increase your sales by attracting American clients, I'll guide you through proven methods to understand and engage with U.S. clients effectively. It all starts with the absolute essential foundation, knowing your American ideal client. And today, I'm going to show you how to identify and truly understand your American ideal client, adapt your strategy to connect with them, and position yourself as the go-to expert they are looking for. Now, if you don't already know me, I am Christina Rebuffet-Broadus. I am the founder of Transatlantia. We are a training and consulting company that helps European entrepreneurs overcome cultural differences to get more American clients. Our clients have unlocked millions in revenue by refining their approach to the U.S. market. But the first step to that kind of success is nailing your American client persona. Now, the first thing you have to do is really understand the cultural divide. Here's the thing. Americans don't think, act, or buy like European clients. They value clarity, speed, and return on investment above everything else. For example, while building rapport over multiple meetings is common in a lot of European cultures, Americans expect you to get straight to the point, fast, and preferably with numbers. If they like what they hear, well, then it's worth spending the time investing in the relationship. But if your messaging is vague or overly formal, they might think that you lack confidence or that you're creating distance. But when you focus on direct, outcome-driven communication, you're immediately on the same wavelength. Now, there are 4 keys to targeting the right American clients for you and your business. The first one is alignment. Alignment, it's all about finding the American clients who naturally align with your working style and your approach. Now, here's the thing. Americans often value traits that differ from what your European clients expect for most of the time. For example, Americans, like I said, they prioritize speed and confidence in decision-making. But if you're used to clients who prefer a more collaborative, a more cautious, a more reserved approach, you might struggle with clients who expect quick, decisive, perhaps what you feel is almost aggressive action. So you need to ask yourself, are you comfortable with clients who want immediate answers and fast results? Or do you prefer to work with those who prefer a slower, more detailed process? Additionally, Americans tend to be very results-focused, which means that they'll care more about your ability to deliver than about building up the relationship and the rapport over time. So, if your strengths lie in producing clear, measurable outcomes, your ideal American client is someone who values efficiency over a prolonged relationship and building that up. So, who are the American clients that you naturally align with? Those who appreciate your working style and your communication approach. And think about how you could adapt to their cultural preferences to strengthen that connection and that alignment. Now, the second thing to consider is impact. This is all about identifying where your work will have the greatest impact, and the cultural differences also play a huge role here. American clients often have this go big or go home mentality. They're drawn to bold, transformative solutions that align with their goals for growth and often pretty big ambitions. For example, while European clients might value incremental improvements or detailed processes, Americans are likely to ask, what's the biggest change that you can deliver and how fast can you deliver it? And what's your price? If you thrive with clients who aim for quick wins, dramatic results, and are willing to pay perhaps a bigger price for it, then you want to target American businesses that are hungry for this kind of growth, like startups or high growth companies. But if your strength lies in long-term strategy, you might want to consider mid-sized or, smaller companies where you can impact their operations over time because you're building things together. And by matching your approach to their mentality, you'll ensure that your work resonates with that target audience. So think about these questions. Where can you make the biggest difference for your American clients? Which types of businesses or decision makers would benefit the most from your unique expertise, and how can you prove that impact? The third thing that you want to consider is connection. Now, connection isn't just about networking with your American clients. It's also about understanding how they expect to be approached and if they are approachable for you. Here's a key cultural difference. Americans are generally more open to direct outreach than Europeans. While in Europe, a cold email or a cold LinkedIn message might be seen as intrusive, in the US, it's a common practice. And if done professionally and with value, then you can really get in that door. However, if you don't show them right then and there what's the benefit for them, you'll never get a response. They get too many messages. So think about the decision makers that you're targeting. If you're reaching out to executives, they'll expect you to clearly state what's in it for them right in that first sentence. But if you're, instead leading with credentials or long introductions, then that's not going to get you a response. They'll never get past the first sentences. So you want to say something like, I've helped businesses like yours increase sales by 30%. I'd like to talk about how we can do the same for you. Another thing is that Americans value networking and social proof. Referrals or testimonials from other American clients, that can be your golden ticket to opening doors if you are quite new to the American market. And you can start by leveraging any existing connections or networks that you have in the US to make yourself visible, of course, if you do have those. So here's a question to ask yourself. What are the most effective ways for you to connect with your target American clients? Are you leveraging direct outreach, social proof, and platforms like LinkedIn to make yourself visible as the solution they need? The fourth thing to consider is affordability. Now, this is about finding American clients who not only see the value in your services, but they're also willing and able to pay for them. Now, here's another cultural difference. There's so many of them. Americans generally invest more heavily in growth and in services than Europeans. They see the value of investing in these things. So while European clients might focus on minimizing cost, Americans are more likely to ask something like, what's the return on this investment? They'll pay premium prices if they see clear, measurable results. For example, if your service can save them time or increase revenue, don't hesitate to target clients with larger budgets. Mid-sized companies, startup with venture funding, they want to save time. On the flip side, if your pricing is more designed for smaller businesses, focus on those who understand that they are investing in results, not just your time or your service. The key is really to articulate why your pricing reflects your expertise and to show how working with you will bring substantial returns. Americans are less likely to haggle over price if they see the value clearly presented. So are you targeting American clients who have the budget to invest in your services or your products, and they see that your price is a reflection of that value? And think about how you can position yourself as the premium choice that they can't ignore. Now, there are some common mistakes I see when identifying your target American client. Number one, assuming the same types of clients who work for you in Europe will be a perfect match over in the US market. Spoiler alert, they might not be. Like I always say, Americans have different priorities, different ways of thinking. They value speed, scalability, bold innovation. And that could clash with a more relationship-driven or a more incremental approach common in Europe. Another mistake could be choosing clients based on surface level similarities, industry, size. If you don't dig deeper into their mindset, you're going to have a hard time making your message resonate. So it's not just about what the client does, it's about how they operate. Are they looking for, fast solutions or a long-term strategy? Do they value measurable results over the process? And identifying these traits can actually help you to avoid misalignment and waste a lot of time and energy. And here's one more. failing to take into consideration the cultural differences within the American market. The American market is not one monolithic market. A tech startup in San Francisco will have very different expectations to a family business in the Midwest. And if you don't account for these differences, you risk targeting clients whose values, pace, and priorities don't align with your strengths. So now you know the first step to winning over American clients, understanding who they are, what they value, and how to position you as their ideal partner. You've got the tools to identify your target audience, and I hope now you have the clarity to see why this step is so essential. So here's a new challenge. Knowing your ideal client, it's one thing. Attracting them and getting them to say yes, that's a whole other ballgame. So how do you pitch yourself in a way that speaks to their priorities, overcomes the cultural differences, and builds trust? Well, that's the second step in my Transatlantic Entrepreneur Program, which I'll show you in the next video. But if you know that you want to know more, then join me for one of my upcoming Transatlantic Entrepreneur Workshops. The link with the date and the time for the next one is in the description below this episode. And remember, targeting American clients isn't about trying to be someone you're not. It's about understanding what makes them tick and showing how your expertise aligns with their goals. You can follow me for more tips on connecting with American clients, and don't forget to grab your spot in that upcoming workshop, and we'll make you visible, valuable, and well-connected in the U.S. market.